Hola. In this lesson, we are going to look at the preterite forms of two verbs, hacer, which means to do, and ir, which means to go. The first thing we are going to do is look at all of the forms of those verbs. Then we will practice with hacer, and finally we will practice with ir. All right, so let's get started. In a previous lesson, we looked at the regular verbs in the preterite tense, and we learned the regular endings for the preterite tense. So for AR verbs, the regular endings for regular verbs, aste o, amos astes aron. And for ER or IR verbs, iste yo, imos istes yeron. But some verbs are irregular, they just don't follow that pattern. And both hacer and ir are irregular verbs in the preterite tense. So let's start by looking at the forms of hacer. Okay, so here we go. I did, yo hice. You did in the informal register, tú hiciste, or in the formal register, usted hizo. He or she did, él hizo o ella hizo. We did, nosotros o nosotras hicimos. You guys or you all did, the plural you, in Spain, in the vosotros form, vosotros o vosotras hicisteis, and in the ustedes form, which we would use in Mexico, ustedes hicieron. And finally, they did is ellos or ellas, if it's a group of girls, hicieron, the same as ustedes. Okay, so that's hacer, to do. Now let's look at the forms of ir, to go. So I went, yo fui. You went in the informal register, tú fuiste, and in the formal register, usted fue. He or she went, él o ella fue. We went, nosotros o nosotras fuimos. You guys or you all went in the vosotros form, vosotros o vosotras fuisteis, and in the ustedes form, ustedes fueron. And then finally, they went, ellos o ellas fueron. Okay, so there is how we conjugate these two super irregular verbs in the preterite tense. And I just wanted to point out in the usted and el ella form of hacer, this is a Z. Yeah, it's normally a C, hice, hiciste, hicimos, hicistes, and hicieron. But in the usted el ella form, it's a Z, hizo. Okay, all right, so let's practice. Let's start off practicing with hacer. All right, so Anna did sport. Anna is, her pronoun will be a she, right? Ella, so Anna hizo, with the Z there, deporte. My dad and I did jogging. Mi padre y yo, so that's we, right? Mi padre y yo hicimos footing. The students did the homework. Yay, students. Los estudiantes, and they would be they, so ellos, hicieron la tarea. I did horseback riding. Yo hice equitación. Tú y tus amigos. So you and your friends did really well. Now in the vosotros form, we would say tú y tus amigos hicisteis muy bien. Or in the ustedes form, tú y tus amigos hicieron muy bien. And then let's look at how we would ask the question, what did you do yesterday? So, ¿qué for what? And then in the informal register, ¿qué hiciste ayer? Or if I were asking that same question, but in the formal register, ¿qué hizo? With the Z there, ayer. Okay, so there's our practice with hacer. Let's practice with ir. So now we're saying not what did you do or I did, but where did you go or I went or they went, right? So I went to the movies. Yo fui al cine. Carlos did not go to school. Ay, ay, ay. Carlos no, and Carlos is a he, right? So we would use the el form. Carlos no fue al colegio. Carlos and I went to the park. Carlos y yo, Carlos and I would be we, right? The nosotros form. Carlos y yo fuimos al parque. The teachers went to the library. Los profesores, and the teachers would be they, so the ellos form. Los profesores fueron a la biblioteca. All right, the plural you and your friends went to the concert. So if we were using the vosotros form, tú y tus amigos fuisteis al concierto, or if we were using the ustedes form, tú y tus amigos fueron al concierto. All right, so now let's ask, where did you go? So to where did you go? ¿A dónde? And in the informal register, ¿a dónde fuiste? Or ¿a dónde fuiste tú? And in the formal register, ¿a dónde fue? Or ¿a dónde fue usted? Okay, in the space down here in your Cornell notes, write a summary of what you just learned about the irregular verbs hacer and ir in the preterite tense. Adios.